Dire team, pick.
All right, roll.
Radiant team, pick.
Alright, hello and welcome everyone here to the Dota Trash Destruction Tournament with a prize pool of $500. There were some invited teams, some that came through. It was sort of a qualifier, it was just actually a vote of the community, but we've got a pretty good game, number one. It is just a best of one between No Earth Spirit. They're going to be going up against Team eHug, and of course your commentators for the day, myself, Helium, and joining me, Vic
10
Romand.
seconds remaining.
Good to be here, Helium. I think it's going to be a good day. We got a lot of interesting teams in this first round match. Usually in tournaments like this, where you get a lot of qualifiers, you have a lot of teams that maybe aren't as experienced. First round's kind of a gimme for all the invited teams, but this game's kind of an exception because eHug replaced one of the qualifier teams, I think.
Yeah, actually, all the teams are pretty high-level Dota players in this tournament. So I think Andrew, who set this up, did a very good job contacting all the teams, and he set up a nice tournament. So make sure to support it here. You can follow the stream at NeoDota. Make sure to check it out. You can also look for the in-game ticket. It's only 99 cents, but enough of that. We'll get into the bans. We see No Earth Spirit with an interesting first ban at Nyx Assassin, following that up with the Dazzle, Lycan, Ember Spirit. Being taken out here by Team eHug, and then of course some picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty not that unstandard draft so far. You have a lot of heroes that are coming back into prominence. Like, we all know about Batrider, Lifestealer. These heroes were all over the place for a very long time, and now they're really highly regarded again. I mean, they're heroes that have fundamentally just really attractive aspects to them, like Lifestealer with the magic immunity and high damage output, Batrider obviously with the unparalleled single target control and strong laning, and good farming obviously. So Batrider, AA, Visage, Lifestealer, none of this is really that surprising, nor the bans. The most interesting thing is we actually get a Tinker ban that's more of a targeted ban.
Yeah, which brings up my point here of the middle player for Team eHug, as we all know, or some of us know, or if you don't know, you're about to know. Justin is filling the pretty big shoes of Ryu Boruz, as Ryu Boruz has departed Team eHug. Very, very sad news for all of us. But Justin, maybe he's a great Tinker player. I vaguely remember casting him in NEL, so maybe these are some respect bans, or eHug has been experimenting around with that Tinker.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah. So far, I think neither team really has a huge advantage just based on what we know right now. Batrider's a pretty solid pick to try to handle Lifestealer. You can lasso him and kill him during that period. AA, I mean, if Nyx gets on him and does a lot of damage before he can respond, he might die and not be able to get his ult off, but I mean, the ult's pretty strong even against a team that includes Lifestealer. And Visage, of course, I feel like we've talked about Visage a million times. This hero's insanely good.
Yeah, he could just pump out so much damage. He receives, slight nerf after nerf. First, they targeted his Gravekeeper's Cloak a little bit, and then they targeted... Or not his Gravekeeper's Cloak, they just targeted his base, magic resistance, to make him a little weaker early. Then they added some more mana cost over to Grave Chill. Yeah. And yeah, so still remains very prominent in the scene with that Soul Sumption being as good as it is. But we see some new picks coming out. Another pickup that's going to help counter that Lifestealer. We see the Bane being picked up there third, and of course the Batrider Lifestealer could be in some trouble, but he's going to be going pretty fast as Centaur War Runner gets picked up there third by No Earth Spirit.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool pick. Centaur's a guy that we're going to be seeing more and more. My boy Merlini said that he was trash on Beyond the Summits talk show, but I don't agree. The hero's pretty strong. He can fulfill multiple roles. Mainly, right now, he's used 3 in China. But DK plays a mid, so he's actually not an awful mid either. And the hero has a lot going for him. Stampede is an extremely strong spell. It can be used for initiation. It can be used for escape. You can't count out any global spell. Global is a big deal. So Centaur brings you that global presence as well as ability to really get fantastic positioning for initiation. Of course, Centaur Lifestealer is a strong combination. We saw DK use it against LGD, I believe, in one of their big comeback games. You put the Lifestealer in the Centaur War Runner, and as long as Centaur got enough money to buy the Blink, you basically have as good initiation as you could want. It's not unlike Storm Spirit, except he also has an AoE stun instead of a single target stun.
Yeah, and then like you said, he's normally played in that 3 role, or if you put him mid, even a 2 role. So he will be getting that Blink Dagger unless he happens to be very shut down in lane. Suddenly, the Lifestealer Bomb is online. The Stampede is also going to make it pretty hard for Batrider with his now very, very small range on Lasso. It could be hard for Batrider to find the pickoffs, potentially.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
have to have
But
quick fingers with the Stampede.
you definitely do, but you can see that they didn't think that the Centaur was quite enough to play against Batrider because they had the Disruptor as well, and Disruptor is another hero who can definitely make it hard for Batrider with the power of the glimpse. Like we've seen Pile Die from Cloud9 play that matchup very, very well, the Disruptor against the Batrider.
Yeah, and then that fourth pick there from eHug, it's just a Weaver, another hero that's never completely fallen off. It's not as prominent as it was, going into and coming out of TI3, but it's still very, very good. It can be annoying and has the split push. It's also very good against Lifestealer if you happen to leave it in a lane with that matchup one-on-one.
Huh?
eHug, though, they're going to ban out the Puck, another strong mid and good potential candidate for the Lifestealer bomb.
Yeah, the Puck is a good ban. Certainly, he's very strong against Weaver and Bane because he can just jump in and interrupt their attempts. In Weaver's case, he can prevent him from using time lapse for 3 full seconds. In Bane's case, of course, he can interrupt the Fiend's grip. So, I think the Puck is a pretty smart ban. I think Doom is a fine ban from No Earth Spirit as well. And yeah, Lifestealer Weaver's an interesting matchup. Weaver's, as you said, obviously favored in lane. In general, Weaver can do a lot of kiting because open wounds doesn't really affect Weaver. He's able to just Shukachi and he still goes at full movement speed even if he gets the full debuff of the open wounds. That said, if Lifestealer farms well and gets a Basher into Abyssal, Abyssal can cause Weaver some serious issues.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say it's fair to say that Lifestealer will out-carry a Weaver. It's just sort of depending on how the game is going. Like, if you're not able to lock down this Weaver, then Lifestealer can't really deal with it. But if you do pick up those big items like a Basher, maybe a glimpse back into a Static Storm with a Silence on a Weaver, all of these things together can definitely shut that hero down. As it's eHug, they're going for their last pick. It looks like, unless they want to put this Batrider middle, they should be looking for another mid candidate. Lots of them have been banned out. Invoker, the Tinker, the Puck, Storm Spirit, maybe even Ember or the Doom potentially. So we'll see what they want to go for. There's a lot of options. Maybe a good old high burst damage Queen of Pain, but maybe not the best pick versus Lifestealer.
Yeah. SF, I actually really like this SF pick. I think eHug were a little bit lacking for damage. Batrider's a great hero, but he's never gonna do your damage for you. He's really bringing people to you for the rest of your team to kill. And Bane's damage is also really not that great. He is really most of a single target. Like they had amazing crowd control in this lineup, but they didn't really have damage, especially before Weaver gets farmed. So I think SF's basically the perfect pick for what they want to do. SF's also great with AA just because he can burst people so quickly that it gets them down to the point where that Ice Blast is going to trigger and just kill them off.
Yeah, and also when you're going up against these tanky heroes, especially the Centaur War Runner, he doesn't have that much armor. I think he maybe has a base of 2, but I could just be making that up. The presence of the Dark Lord is really going to help to bring down the tanky Centaur War Runner and the Lifestealer, who's got a lot of sustain, but not the highest strength gain for strength heroes. And it helps with the Weaver, of course, the Gemini attack hitting twice, and it's Earth Spirit now to pick up their
Who doesn't have
last pick.
strength gain? Lifestealer?
Yeah, I mean he's not the
amazing.
tankiest of the strength heroes, but he does
He's
have
no
the
Centaur
sustain.
War Runner.
That's yeah,
He's got
definitely.
like 4, I think, something like 4.
10 seconds remaining.
Because
Does
he
it?
used
Yeah, I
to
don't know.
have an ult that was just strength, and then they baked the strength of his ult into his strength gain, so it's like 4 per level, and then his ult obviously they gave him Stampede. This was back in 6.7.5. Night
Yeah.
Stalker is the addition. Interesting. So this is the long silence, definitely also good against Bane, good against AA, even
Weaver.
Batrider, but mainly I think this is an anti-Weaver thing. You can really hunt him down.
Indeed, especially what's the duration at nighttime? It's something ridiculous, like 6
It's
seconds.
8 seconds when it's maxed
8.
out. Yeah.
There you go. With the
It's really-
12-second cooldown, so it's almost permanently online.
Yeah,
which
3/4.
with Bloodseeker you can't actually do the permanent silence, which is
Yeah.
really really annoying sometimes.
Bloodseeker is amazing against Weaver, but I don't think he would have been that great of a pickup
10
here.
seconds remaining.
I would agree. I think the hero's still borderline trollish, but sometimes you can make it work and get praise for it.
He's like lower. He's definitely lower tier, but against some lineups like Weaver, you actually can sometimes make it work. Actually, I don't know. On second thought, they could have run Bloodseeker, but maybe they were like, oh, it's too joke of a pickup. The other thing is Batrider is pretty good against Bloodseeker because you can just kill him off, and then it doesn't matter that he can heal.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
god,
of course,
are you for real right now?
yeah, we are going to have a pause. I know it's been delayed already, guys, so apologies for that. But more time for you to tell your friends about the tournament over here. Dota Trash Destruction on twitch.tv/NeoDota. And for anyone watching in game, that's the stream. Make sure to check it out.
And people, of course, who are watching the stream should know that there's also a tournament ticket that you can pick up for this.
Yep, get those items. It's only 99 cents.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it.
Yep, get your Pendago items.
There you go.
So,
Or Demise. I don't know.
the eHug
Standing back
lineup
in.
looks like they have one stand-in, two stand-ins?
Well, yeah, I was just about to say, Demise was on the team in their carry
Right.
role, but he kind of disappeared, and then they had tryouts, and Jigglebilly took that carry role. I guess since Ryuboru is leaving the team, and I think Cake's future with the team is maybe a little uncertain as well, so probably why they're bringing back in Demise. Looks like he will be on the bats, potentially doing the offlane, and where'd Demise go? Oh, yeah, Demise, sorry, on the bat, I just said that. And
yeah.
Jigglebilly is still taking that one role on the Weaver.
So I didn't know Ryu left.
Yeah, it was just announced today, like right before this tournament started, I believe.
Oh, interesting. Huh, okay. Well, looks like they got a replacement.
Yeah, but it's people they've played with before. I mean, Demise was on the team at one point.
Yeah, I know, that's true. Yeah, I think both teams have lineups that can work. Centaur is pretty good to get in there and do a lot of... Centaur has pretty decent synergy with Visage because he does have a lot of burst damage. He can rack up that damage that Visage can then key off of. The double-edge damage both to Centaur and to the targets will all proc charges of Soul Assumption. So basically one double-edge, if it's like rank 3, is going to be full charges of Soul Assumption if you need to. So that's a pretty cool aspect of it.
It also hits AoE in that forward sort of cone shape, so if he does manage to get that on a couple of people, that's definitely going to be a full Soul Assumption charge.
Yeah, it's definitely... that's one of the best aspects of it, I think. If you can land that big AoE, that can be devastating in terms of the damage. They don't have a lot of... what they don't really have much of on No Earth Spirit is any sort of crowd control or ability to force a fight. So if they can get in... If they get good Stampede positioning and land that AoE stun, then yeah, you're going to see the slow from the Void, you're going to see the slow from the Open Wounds. But if they can't, like... They can maybe get pickoffs with Glimpse, too. That's the other big thing. So actually, for No Earth Spirit, it's going to be extremely important that they always maintain amazing map vision. I mean, vision is always important, but for this team, if they don't have good vision, if eHug dewards them, you're going to see No Earth Spirit being completely unable to force fights. Like, there's no way that if they don't have vision, they can actually get on and kill anybody or force any fights. Whereas eHug can very, very easily force fights. All they need is Blink Dagger on Bat, or Bane to just do his job, and they can immediately take a fight when they want to.
Yeah, indeed. I'd also like to point out that we've got Ancient Apparition, Shadow Fiend, and Bane, who are all sort of just floating, strange-looking apparitions of some sort or the other. And Batrider as well has no parts of himself on the ground. So I'm a little sad to see Weaver, who actually touches the ground here in what is kind of a no-legs strat. But we'll introduce the teams, I guess. The Radiant, eHug, we've got Pandago. We'll be playing up that Bane. Demise, as we talked about, playing the Batrider, standing in here. In the offlane, Jigglebilly in that one role on the Weaver. I saw someone in the chat upset that Jigglebilly's on the one role. They want to see him, I think, mid, was what they were saying. But it's going to be Justin filling those shoes of Ryuboru's here in the mid lane on the Shadow Fiend, and Ancient Apparition is going to be played up here by I'm a Sheep Sucks.
And looking up towards No Earth Spirit, they've got Last Hit Magic on Lifestealer top lane. Looks like it might be solo safing. And then Relic will be in the mid on the Night Stalker, which means an aggressive try of Centaur, played by Finnith, and on the Disruptor and Goody, or Fan of Soyon, on the Visage. Maybe they'll rotate the supports up, we'll see. Because Centaur can be solo hard, he can be aggressive try. I did mention, like, yeah, if he levels Double Edge and Hoof Stomp early, it can proc Visage very, very quickly and do a lot of damage. But they're going for First Blood here. I don't know if they're going to get it.
Well, they may, because it seems to be a duo mid lane, as we see Relic on that Night Stalker. Just the Enfeebles going out there, but into the bottom lane we go. I'm a Sheep in some trouble. He scurries away with his 295 move speed, and it looks like he will be okay.
Yeah, because, again, the vision, I mean, they have some vision, and they did block a camp. This is Shadow Fiend-related behavior, but it's not that much just yet.
Where is actually the other ward here from No Earth Spirit? I see that... Were they both? No, Disruptor's still holding
It's
on
on
to
somebody,
one.
yeah.
They warded up the bottom rune, so if they want to use, like you normally do when you go aggressive tri-lane, put that ward here maybe, get that vision of the creep pool, also the lane. A really nice place to put it.
Yeah, I don't know how much I love this aggressive try, honestly, because again, how do they force, like, maybe they can glimpse Jigglebilly back in some cases, but it's going to actually be pretty difficult to get the kills here. I guess Sheep could die because if they land like a good Grave Chill on them and you get the hoof stomp in, but it won't be the easiest thing to take advantage of this lane and actually win. And if they don't, they're almost better off having just left Centaur solo and just dominated the Bat Rider instead. I guess they thought Bat was jungling.
Yeah, Bat's actually up top giving last hit magic some pain. He's at 9-1. That's Demise. His last hit's denies. It's a 3-2 on last hit magic. Not really working the last hit magic right now, but it's not his fault. It's not an easy lane.
It's not an easy lane.
To this tri-lane, I mean, I think Finnith, they may not get kills, but it's going to be hard for either team to kill somebody, and Finnith can just farm up and get that Blink Dagger that we talked about.
Yeah, it's true, but I do think that... All right, we got
to take that back. Chilling Touch coming out and is going to get very low. He will drop and give it the first blood here to I'm a Sheep Sucks. He's going to pick up that now. Jigglebilly throwing out the Swarm. Can he get one more Sakuchi forward? It's in 1 second to take out Soyeon. Maybe taking out Finnith as well. Let's see if they try to back off.
No way, they won't die.
Will. They don't want to get, hoof stomped under the tower and give up a kill in return.
Yeah, and also there's no point. I mean, the thing is, they've just forced basically both of the last salves. So that's as good as having like dived and actually died, but maybe gotten one more kill. Like they win the lane off of that. It's gonna be very hard for Noah Spirit to win the lane at this point. I don't think that tri-lane was a good idea. That's the thing about Ancient Apparition too. Like you saw them try. They thought that they had a kill, but you don't have a kill against Ancient Apparition just because Chilling Touch is so incredibly strong.
Yeah, I'll admit I kind of forgot about the effectiveness of that spell as we see Pandago rolling over into the bottom lane with that haste. So they're doing some rune control for the mid lane. They don't want Relic to get his hands on that haste rune and be able to save it for this first nighttime. Not that Night Stalkers terrorize the first night too much anymore. It's more so the second one since it's so early. But
with haste rune, you can.
You might rotate with that haste, yeah.
Yeah, you probably would rotate, I think. But yeah, I just. Now that Pandago was smart, leaving Shadow Fiend. He kept Shadow Fiend there just to give him the early stacks, because otherwise Night Stalker would still be able to pressure him quite a bit and keep last hits from him. But now, Shadow Fiend's fine. Justin should be able to last hit easily. He's at 19 for 4, so he's doing quite well. And I don't know, I just feel like basically they're... Oh, Demise actually taking a lot of damage top, but I don't think it's the death amount of damage.
Well, Open Wound still has a little bit of time left on it. Last Hit Magic's going to go for it, and then Demise, of course, popping that Firefly, getting over the hill. And he's going to use out his last Tango. But he's so low in this lane, I think he's going to have to go back and heal. But he's almost level 5, so he's done very, very well in this lane. He's getting good CS, 17 and 2. And he's got his boots up.
Jeez Louise, he's probably back. What's he doing?
I don't know. This is pretty crazy. He should be giving up this kill to Last Hit Magic. Another Open Wounds come in, and that's Demise making some questionable plays. But Life Stealer, Last Hit Magic is A-okay with that.
Questionable is a nice way to put it for that. There was no reason whatsoever to do that. Pandago now in trouble, so they're getting decent rotation. Their vision's pretty good.
Let's see if they can get him the Grave Chill to start things off. Goody attacks a little bit too early. He's going to Nightmare himself up, but it looks like they will get Pandago. The Chilling Touch, though, comes out. Now Finnith will fall so quickly. Such a tanky hero, but he still drops incredibly fast with the Chilling Touch. They're going to get everybody, actually. Goody is going to be the next one to fall. They're going to split their damage, but it doesn't matter because they have so much, and that was a beautiful raise from Justin. Is going to come through and pick up N on the Disruptor. 4-2, eHug out ahead early.
Yeah, that's the thing. Weaver AA is extremely strong. For a two-person lane, it's one of the highest damage outputs you can have, because Geminate will take 2 of the charges of the... Oh, actually, Demise comes back. Doesn't even need to use Lasso, gets the revenge. So that's good. He compensates for that change. And that's the thing about No Earth Spirit. Like, yeah, Disruptor is... You're doing an aggressive tri-lane with Disruptor. An underlevel Disruptor doesn't do... Like, look at what he does right now. He doesn't have Glimpse. He has a pseudo-disable for 3 seconds, and he has an extremely low damage nuke, right? Like, the hero just doesn't do anything. And so, when you got Visage... I mean, he on purpose took the Nightmare so that Finnith could get in there and hoof stomp, but the Weaver AA does more damage as a dual lane than these guys do as a tri-lane. This actually, when AA, nobody played AA... You did see Goblack's teams like drafting him every so often just for that.
Oh, top lane, Last Hit Magic in trouble. The lasso comes up online, And he does have an infest. He gets into the creep, pumps out that damage, but it's going to be a hard battle. He's got 5 stacks of napalm. He's going down. Demise getting another kill up there in that top lane, putting him at 2 and 1. So nicely done. It's actually 6 to 2 now, as Justin continues farming in the mid lane. 33 and 6, and then bottom lane, like you said, this disruptor. I got a question. 2 points in kinetic field.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, what would it be though? Like, I guess 1 point a glimpse, but
yeah,
it doesn't make that big of a difference. Like, I think the lanes are more the problem. And the nice thing would be is, yeah, okay, fine, our aggressive Trellin doesn't do that great, but Lifestealer gets really good farm. But because they have put the Batrider up there, the lane's not uncontested, and the Batrider's doing just fine. Now he's ahead because, I mean, he got those 2 kills in exchange for the Lifestealer's 1. Lifestealer's not doing so hot. He's doing worse than the Night Stalker is, definitely worse than the Centaur is.
Yeah, it's a very hard lane for those that may be unfamiliar with the matchup. Napalm doesn't really care if you were raged or not. It's still very, very annoying, slowing down your turn rate. But into the middle lane, we've got Justin. He's, taking some damage. How's Relic doing, actually? 30 and 3. So this Night Stalker still doing nice. He's got a double damage bottled up, but it looks like there might be some more action in the bot lane. Pandago's going to open up the Nightmare onto Finnith. And there's the Chilling Touch going out. The return is online here for Finnith. Can they get him with that? Oh my gosh, the Geminate attack coming through doing so much. Now they're going to go right onto end. They're still attacking and just doing ridiculous amounts of damage with, 70 per attack. Now Jugabilly's going to go ahead and throw out the time lapse as he dives the tower a little too far. But he picks up the double kill there as Justin is continuing to farm up stacks in the middle lane as well as winning the lane.
Yeah, so the Weaver doesn't have that many last hits, only has 21 in 7 minutes. But then you look at his GPM, and it's like, yeah, he's higher than anybody on Dire just because he's 2-0 and 4.
Oh, and here comes the first Ice Blast of the game, too, onto Goody. They're going to get him. He's going to shatter from that, no problem. But Jugabilly gives up his own life. Finnith may be risky there to use that double edge. Could have put himself in that threshold of shattering, but it looks like the Visage does shatter in the background, so she picks up that kill.
It's only a rank 1 double edge, so
yeah,
it doesn't do that much damage to him. Yeah. But it was smart. I mean, they got the Weaver, they prevented Weaver from getting the AoE gold or the XP from that Death of the Visage, so...
Yeah, still another really good kill. Relic now with the double damage in the mid lane, going to turn things around here onto Justin, but it flips over to Daytime, and he's going to have to back off, so... Night Stalker not being able to do too much. When it gets to that 12-minute mark, we will see. But actually, an Ice Blast coming into the mid lane. Demise is there. The Ice Blast doesn't land, but they're not going to need it, because as soon as Relic's held in place, the raises come out. The damage is there. They don't even need to use the lasso. It's not even available, actually. So, very well done there from eHug, picking up another, as it's 10-3 at just 8 minutes and 42 seconds.
Oh, fast blink on Shadow Fiend. All right. That's pretty cool.
Justin's a man.
Well, it's not that manly, because I said that they can't force fights. Like, this actually means that they even more can't force fights, because like I was gonna say the one guy they can catch out is Shadow Fiend, but now they can't, because Kinetic Field, no damage, Grave Chill, no damage, even Crippling Fear, no damage. So he's always gonna just be able to blink away as soon as somebody goes on him.
Yeah, open wounds as well. I mean, if that gets thrown on you
all
from
their
a distance,
initiation
just blink.
tools do no damage. Like, oh man, yeah, that's smart. It's a smart pickup actually.
Yeah, it's also going to be hard to get this Weaver that has gone for a Midas. So the Midas is online pretty early here. He's finished up that Ring of Bass, so we can start to push out this bottom lane, which is now uncontested. Disruptor going to rotate down there and try to get some farm, but it's going to be hard for a support to just sit here and farm because the Ice Blast is always going to be on its way. This Ancient Apparition at level 7 now, so early on, and with an Ice Blast, Jugabilly can just kill any of the supports.
Yeah. 7 is a great mark for I'm a Sheep to be at right now. He's got the maxed out Chilling Touch for Jugabilly, and really Shadow Fiend as well. And he of course has the Ice Blast available. And the other spells don't really matter as much in this particular game.
Yeah, it looks like we got some creep stacking here in the Dire jungle. It doesn't actually stack for some reason. But Last Hit Magic just doing his best to catch up here, as he does only have Phase Boots right now. He's falling pretty far behind in terms of CS. He's at 34. 3 of the farming heroes for eHug are ahead of him.
I just don't know. I feel like they could have pressured Batrider more heavily. They did block some of the jungle, so since they had the jungle blocked, it would push Batrider into the top, and then they could just kill Batrider repeatedly. Because that's the one guy... Batrider's great to use Disruptor stuff against. Glimpse is awesome against him. Kinetic Field can prevent him from fire flying over. It's all possibilities. Anyway, at this point, I think he's just seeing Noir Spirit, like, really trying to think of, hey, where can we actually find farm? Last Hit Magic is sort of splitting the top lane with Finnith, and they're sort of both doing some jungling and some lane farming. The blink is done for Centaur, so it's not hopeless. They have pretty good initiation with that and Infest.
Yeah, indeed they do, and we've actually got Goody here on the Visage, stacking up these Ancients, so they can catch up there, but the Ice Blast goes over, and it's going into the mid lane. It lands on Relic. There's also a lasso back here by Demise. Will he be able to get him to break? He pushes him over the cliff. Beautifully done here, but the shatter happened, and he should just be able to TP out. So Relic very, very tanking, showing the strengths of that Night Stalker.
Level 8 already, so luckily Night Stalker lives through that. Could have been a little more napalm stacking, I felt, while they were lassoing him. They probably missed 1, maybe even 2 stacks of napalm that could have helped.
Yeah, it looks like he did have, maybe even took a bottle hit. He definitely had some charges on his magic wand. He got a lot of health back once he got knocked over the cliff. But definitely. Good sense to TP out without hesitation as Goody goes back to stacking up the Ancients, which won't be incredibly easy to clear for anyone on the side of no Earth Spirit, but it's still something that they can do.
Not really. I mean, none of them can do it now. It's mostly do it now and do it later, because Double Edge is magical, so you can't actually use it on Ancients. Only on the small dragons.
Small dragons, yeah. Which could actually maybe backfire. I mean, if they give up a fight here, lose their tier 2s in middle in the bot lane, and the stack still remains, it will be not too hard for a Shadow Fiend and a Weaver to go ahead and clear it out.
That's true. Because they're ahead on levels. You have a level 11 Shadow Fiend. He's 2 levels ahead of Lifestealer. Main thing they need is levels on Bane, but actually eHug, pretty smart play here. Bane has had the top lane to himself for a little while now, so he started at barely level 4, and now he's halfway to level 6. And they do really need that Fiend's Grip for Lifestealer sooner or later.
They know exactly where Lifestealer is, too. The Ice Blast comes in, there's the lasso, they don't want to allow the Infest, which is on cooldown anyway, and Demise picks up that kill on last hit magic, making himself 3-1. He's picked up his own Blink Dagger, as we have seen, and he's doing very, very well. He's got to smoke up for some more ganks and 600 gold to maybe work towards a 4-staff or Boots of Travel.
Ooh, Jigglybilly getting stunned. But it doesn't matter. He managed to Shukachi just before the stun landed, which was the only thing that he needed to actually survive. So that's great.
Up top, they're looking to get a little aggressive here on N, who has finally hit level 4 here at 13 minutes. Glimpse is now online. In the mid lane, Justin in some trouble, but Relic is going to see Amisheep sucks. The Chilling Touch goes out, and Relic is going to back off completely. So this Night Stalker, the hero you pick up to sort of dictate this portion of the game, still stuck to the mid lane and falling levels and levels behind this Shadow Fiend.
I don't know. Is Night Stalker actually any good? I feel like this hero doesn't really win games.
Yeah, I would say I don't like it as much. Maybe running it in more like a lane that it will definitely win, or working to pick up kills. I guess like I like it in the safe lane more, where you're really going to get free farm, and then at the 12-minute mark you can just go crazy with.
He's good against like Puck too. He's a good anti-Puck. Yeah,
and the Weaver later on, but so far no Earth Spirit, not in a good position for later on.
Wow. I mean, Weaver is going straight for, it looks like, BKB. I think that's so smart in this game. BKB is all they've got to try to control him right now. In theory, the Lifestealer would have the damage output to just go toe-to-toe, but they've managed to do a good job of keeping Lifestealer under control. So he only has part of a drum and phase. So Weaver now doesn't need to worry about that guy. So okay, if I don't worry about Lifestealer, what else do I worry about? Well, other than him, it's all magic damage, basically, and magic control. So I'm just going to get my BKB, and then I'll be functionally invulnerable. And even if it keeps my damage down, I have Ancient Apparition, who gives me 7,422 damage. So,
or in other words, 80 per attack. But yeah, that's a really good point. It limits your damage output, but that doesn't matter for him. It won't split push as fast because you can't hit hard against towers, but... And speaking of towers, this middle tier 1 will be denied here by no Earth Spirit. We see a quick kill there. Weaver getting that on Disruptor. Demise is now looking to initiate on someone else. He's going to throw out the lasso here onto Finnith, initiating on the tankiest target first. Ice Blast is going to land on one. The Stampede does come out, though. Justin is going to blink forward. Nicely done, dodging Finnith's stomp and picking up a kill in the process. Jigglybilly with the double kill. Sheep trying to TP away from this. He will get out, so Earth Spirit not able to pick up any kills, and now they chase down Relic. Relic here is going to drop here to Demise, who is dominating 4-1 and 4. It's 16-3 here at 15 minutes. eHug leads by 7.5k gold and XP.
Yeah, a really solid just outposition there, essentially, right? Like, that was just very, very well played.
It was indeed, and they just sit and wait to respawn as they look at their tier 2 tower in the middle lane just falling, and this opens up the door to, like we talked about a little bit earlier, sniping this stack of Ancients once they discover it.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, eHug are playing very, very well. This is pretty crisp play. And North Spirit, team's not like noobs. These are all pretty high ranked players. They're all strong. But they haven't been able to really dent eHug at all. 3 kills out of the 19 in the game.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised. I mean, I thought this game was going to be very close. That being said, I guess, unfortunately, this is just a best of one, so we won't get to see another game. This tournament is single elimination until the semifinals, where it turns into best of 3. So this is round 1. The semifinals will be round 3. So we'll get to those here pretty soon, as this game looks to be relatively quick. And the point I was looking to make was, in a best of 1, really anyone can win. We see even the top level teams stop each other in 15 minutes back to back. So
yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it keeps going, because this is them trying to sort of get their initiation. You can just see that they actually get the silence off on Jigglebilly, but a little too late.
Yeah, they're going to jump onto the lasso with Finnith. There's a wild lifestealer appearing outside of that Centaur. He's just going to get Fiend Script up immediately. A small Ice Blast coming through. Doesn't hit anybody, but it doesn't really matter. Everybody else dies as they're going to keep chasing down. Justin gets off the ultimate, and they take out Relic before he can TP. Nicely done.
Sick.
Triple kill for Justin, and the
Really
GG
sick.
comes out in the middle of that team fight. So we were a little delayed coming into this game, but eHug makes it a quick one.
Yeah, I mean, eHug, they saw the weakness in North Spirit's lineup, which was, like I said, the inability to force a fight, even in lane stage, and they abused it all game, basically, but especially in those later team fights. Like, just back off a little bit, bait the Stampede, and at the end of the Stampede, get back in and just kill everybody. So very, very well played to eHug, and they're looking pretty good so far in this tournament.
They are indeed arguably the favorites to win it all here, that $500 for the Dota Trash Destruction Tournament. Make sure to check out the website. You'll be able to see it on the overlay page in a moment, dotatrash.com/destruction. And make sure to follow us on Twitter at HeliUmbrella and at VicRamon. But we'll be back with some more action momentarily.